Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Self Care at Work Challenge, the live edition. I am Belinda Harris. I am an HR professional. I've been in the human resource field for 20 years. I have been in the disabilities field for 25 years, 30 years, probably a long time. So, yes. Welcome to the Self Care at Work Challenge. We have been doing a challenge for the past 9 weeks. This makes our ninth week in the Self Care at Work Challenge. We started way back 9 weeks ago because it takes 67 days for a habit to stick. So I wanted to make sure that we stuck in on the self care at work tools that we need to do. So I started way ahead of 67 days to make sure that we ended the year practicing our self-care at work and going into the new year with the habits and tools we need to be successful and safe and healthy at work. So that is why I started the self-care at work challenge. This makes the ninth and final week. So for everybody who's been in the challenge for these past 9 weeks, congratulations. You did it. I'm proud of you. Self-care is ongoing. Self-care doesn't stop. There's no one-stop shop for self-care. It's not, I take this pill and my self-care is healed. It is none of that. Self-care is ongoing. It is ongoing. And that's why it's important to learn tools that you can use to practice self-care at work. Now, before I get into today's talk, I want to say that today is the last live for 2024 for the Self-Care at Work Challenge. In the new year, we will start the live again on January the 8th. So after today, because next Wednesday is Christmas, yay, and most people are off at work. And then the Wednesday after that is the 1st, yay, and most people are off on the 1st. So we'll start back our live on the 8th. That's right, on the 8th. And I'm not sure if we're going to do a challenge or just call it a community and check in with each other every week like this, instead of it necessarily being a challenge, but more of a community. But I'll give you more details closer to January 8th. You'll hear more details from me on whether it will actually be a challenge or whether it just be a community where we're just giving resources to each other and I'm just coming in live to talk. Now, anytime that you ever want to come on live, by all means, come on in. And Merry Christmas, Victor. Wow. I was going to say it's early for you, but it's in the afternoon for you. So thank you for joining the live. I appreciate that. So self-care at work, the challenge. What have we been doing? We've been doing a morning routine, not our regular morning routine that we do at home where we maybe meditate and cold shower or grounding outside. Not that type of morning routine, but a morning routine where at work, 5 minutes before we actually start work, we take a sip of water to hydrate, right? Drink some water. That's one part of our morning routine. We write down 3 things that we are grateful for our job, whether it's that they pay me, whether it's I enjoy working with my coworkers, whether it's I actually enjoy the work that I do. It could be that too. But we come up with 3 things that we are grateful for about our job. And then we say a quick prayer or affirmation. So that's 5 minutes before we start work. That's our morning routine that we do. Why do we do that? It sets the day. The water gets us hydrated. The things that we are grateful for gets us in a mindset of looking for gratitude instead of looking for that one more thing that's wrong with this job. So it gets us in the mindset of gratitude, and we say a prayer and we do an affirmation to set the day. Then we talked about during our challenge for a lunch break, for your lunch break to actually take a lunch break and not do any work. Many of us take a lunch break right in front of our desk as we're still working and eating, or working and on a call, or working and doing a meeting, hopefully without your camera on, but doing a meeting. And we don't need to do that. Our lunch break needs to be just that, concentrate on our food, not focus on anything at work. You can maybe read a book if that's what you choose to, or just enjoy your meal. So our lunch break is no work. That is the second thing that we talked about doing. The third thing we talked about in this challenge was that 1 hour before your shift was over at work, 1 hour, we were to pause. Think about, what is that one thing that I can do today to finish out the day and be like, whew, I got something done. Because sometimes you're working, you get to the end of the day and you be like, I haven't accomplished a thing, because you've done so many little things. So at 1 hour before we get off, we pause and we think, what's that one thing that I can do that when I finish at the end of the day, I can say, whew, and we close out the day. The reason why we do that is if we start on a high note and we finish on a high note, then work may not feel so bad. And then in the middle, when we take a lunch, it's a true lunch. Those are the things that we talked about. The other thing that we talked about, and we've been working on this, we worked on this a couple of weeks in a row, is boundaries. That is huge for a lot of people, setting boundaries at work. What do you mean by setting boundaries? Because you may say, well, I'm not a supervisor. People tell me what to do. How can I set a boundary? You absolutely can set a boundary. We all can set a boundary. One boundary may be when my shift is over at, for most people, 5 p.m., then I'm done working. I'm not doing anymore. I close out the day and I'm done. That can be a boundary, a hard, strong cutoff time. Another boundary that you can set is maybe you don't take meetings if you're able to schedule your meetings. Maybe you don't schedule meetings before 10 a.m. and they give you time to get into your job, get situated, kind of see what you're doing before you start your meetings. So maybe you have a line of when you do your meetings for your company. Maybe it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. For me, I do my Monday meetings. I have meetings in the morning with my staff, or I call it check-ins. And then the afternoon is maybe where I meet with different counselors, is how I have it set on Mondays in the afternoon. That's my boundary. I don't meet with them on Tuesdays. I don't meet with them on Wednesdays. Mondays, that's my boundary. That's what I set for myself, for my self-care. But maybe you set your meetings. The other thing that you may do is maybe you say, I don't check my emails every 5 minutes. I'm going to cut this time off and do some deep work. I'm going to do an hour of deep work, or maybe 90 minutes of deep work. You work for 90 minutes, then let me check my emails. Or you work for an hour, then maybe check my emails. Some people can work for 45 minutes, then check your emails. But you set a boundary of when you're going to check your emails. And then the other thing that we talked about as it relates to boundaries, so those are three things. The fourth thing that we talked about was how you communicate with people. For example, when I'm doing my deep work, I really want to focus on what I'm working on. So between these times, I may let people know, hey, it's my deep work time. If there's an emergency, and this is my definition of emergency, so I'll let people know, text me. Don't call, text me. And then I can respond. That is me setting it up how I want to deal with my emergencies during deep time. Now, if there's not an emergency, people know not to contact me, because this is the time that I've dedicated to be in deep work. And in deep work, you have to kind of be on the flow, because when you're working and you're working hard in this deep flow and it's coming and you're like, okay, I'm in a groove. And then somebody calls, or somebody comes to your door, or, somebody pops up on your screen. That deep work, that focus work goes right on out the drain. They may only be there for a quick 5 minutes, but it throws you off, and it takes you 15 minutes to get back to, now what was I doing? And they were only there 5 minutes. So that's a boundary that you can set. At work, it's important to set boundaries. When we think about self-care, again, a lot of people think about at home, things that I do at home, my morning routine at home, my evening routine at home. But At work, you're at work 8 hours a day if you're working a full-time job. You're 8 hours a day in one sitting, whether you're working from home or going off to an office or a building or place. It's 8 hours. What are you doing in those 8 hours? You need to make sure you're giving things back to yourself. You're practicing because you'll be more productive if you are giving yourself back energy. I'm working, working, working. I do my self-care break. Maybe I go outside for my outside nature break. Oh, I feel good. Go back in and you can go at it again. When you just go, 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 by the time you get home, if you haven't given yourself any self-care breaks at work, you're exhausted. You don't want to be bothered with your family. You don't want to be bothered with your friends because you have given your all at work and have not given yourself anything back. So it's important for your health, your mental health, to give yourself some self-care at work. You deserve it. I don't care what your job is. You deserve self-care at work and at home. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And that is not anything that you have to pay for. It's not anything that you have to go buy to do a self-care. It's not. It's a pause, sip of water, break outside. I used to call it my smoke break because if you know smokers go out and get their people who smoke, they don't go out there 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times a day to get their cigarette break in. To get a little puff and then go back in. That's their energy. Well, I don't smoke, but I'm like, hey, I can go out and get a break too. So I used to call it my smoke break, but now I call it my nature break, where I go out, get some air, get some sun in my face, in my eyes, refresh, and come back and give it again. So thank you for coming on to Self-Care at Work Live Challenge. We went live every Wednesday at 6:30. This is the last live for the year. I'm so proud of you. 9 weeks. That is a lot. Commend yourself for committing to 9 weeks. We are going to start back the live on January the 8th at 6:30 in the morning, where we're going to make sure that we are setting the day for success. I'm Belinda Harris. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay tuned for more information on whether the self-care will be another challenge starting in January or we'll just make it a community. If it is something that you're interested in and want to be a part of, text Count Me In to 678-995-3812. Again, that's 678-995-3812. Again, thank you. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. I'll see you in 2025.